Awesome. Hey, everybody, what's
Yeah.
going on? Happy Saturday. Thank you
Oh yeah.
Happy Saturday.
Happy
so much
Saturday.
for joining us on another Highway 6 to Africa. So you're here with your girl Petra.
All right. Go
I'm
ahead.
also here with my host, TyB and Ron.
Yeah.
And we also have
Hey.
a special guest as well, Cruz Rock. He's our amazing guest for today. So we're super excited to get this show on the roll. But before we get started and talk to our amazing guest, TYV, how was your week?
Who wants to know, by the way?
Inquiring
I'm,
minds.
I'm fabulous. I'm great. I'm great. I thank the Lord that I'm here because not a lot of people have been so lucky to be alive. Um, Once I wake up in the morning, I pinch myself and I can feel the pain. I give thanks to the Almighty. So I'm
All
good.
right.
I'm good. And Ron, how are you doing?
I'm doing lovely on the west coast here of Canada. It is absolutely gorgeous. Not a cloud in the sky. It feels like almost, I'll say, April right now.
Mm.
That warm, so and
Stop
that
it.
kind of day. So it's
Stop it.
beautiful out here. That's why I've got the pool behind me, and I'm just about ready to jump in.
Let's see that. We
Stop
definitely
it.
want to see that.
Yeah, he's teasing us. He's teasing us.
Are you sure?
He-
Oh my God.
he's just teasing us.
Awesome. But yeah, and my week was amazing too. We got some crazy snow here in Toronto in the GTA. So honestly, that was crazy on Thursday. Snow day all around for everybody, school buses, schools canceled. So the kids were happy. The parents were kind of like, oh, too much noise in the house.
Yeah,
But
that was all
yeah,
over the news too.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you.
And
Yeah.
don't tell it to Cruz because he's
What's
wearing
good?
he's wearing a t-shirt and
I
so
Hey, yeah.
know.
stop
I'm
it.
I'm I'm right on the equator right now. I'm in the islands, so I do not
Woo.
feel your pain.
Oh,
Oh boy, lucky you. So
Oh
we
yeah,
definitely
yeah,
dive
yeah.
into this interview with you, Cruz. So honestly, it's really
Yes,
amazing to have you back on the show. But I'd love for
definitely.
you just to share with all of our listeners, if it's their first time getting to know you, can you just share with our listeners who's Cruz Rock? Let them know who you are.
Yeah, well, I'm Cruz Rock, artist, and when I say artist, I mean an all-around artist. Musician, and award-winning artist as well. Um, Grammy member, Latin Grammy member, Latin Caribbean artist from the Virgin Islands. Making some waves. I'm hoping to climb my way up to the ladder.
And we love that. And you forgot you're a part of the Love Bay family as well. So
Yes, definitely. Thank you guys for having me again. I didn't realize it was such a while since we did the last interview.
This
yeah,
is
I
this is your
know.
third time though.
The third
Mm-hmm.
time. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You
Put
guys
it
must
been
really
on it.
like me.
Oh, we love you.
I think just a little bit. Just a little bit. We like you,
no, we're
yeah.
really desperate today. So sorry.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Awesome. So yeah, it's been a little bit it's been a little bit of a while since you've been on the show, but it's amazing to have you back. So can you just
Yes.
share with our listeners, just give us some updates, what's new since you've last been on the show?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I was here when I dropped the album Cultura, the album. So Cultura, the album came out, and it has some of your favorite tracks that you guys have been spinning. Be Mine with Beanie Man.
Oh yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
love
yeah.
that one.
Toa Toa with Amara La Negra.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Got some nice Afro beats on there. The album, the 17 track album. I know it's a lot, but it was a lot of backed up work over the years, and then I added some new pieces to it. And it's been about 2 years since that album came out. About a year, I'll say a year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
And it's still, people. You know what's crazy? It actually charted number 4 on the iTunes charts in Canada
Oh
when it dropped.
wow.
Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah, yeah. So I wonder if
Amazing.
Love Bay had anything to do with that.
You know,
Just might.
TYB
Yeah,
You
missing
know,
call.
you know what I'm
I
saying?
don't know.
Drop
I
that
don't
Cruz
know.
back in.
Yeah, I don't know. But
Hmm.
the fact of the matter is that, yeah, we've been spinning. We love your music. I mean, you've been here
Thank you.
for
Thank you.
maybe 3 years right now. I think we're running into 3 years. And
Yeah, but yeah.
you're still going strong.
Yes.
Hmm.
And one track that I love about your music, Sabrosa, right? Sabrosa
Sabrosa.
is,
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Sabrosa is one of my favorites. And since the last time that you were here, you were planning on some tours, which I've been following
Yeah,
you. You did some great. I've been following you to
yeah,
Trinidad and some other places, and it seems you are
yeah.
on the way up. What is the secret?
The secret is consistency. Believing is number one. You gotta believe, because a lot of times, as an artist, you sit there and you're like, man, the shows might not be coming the way you want it to come, or you might have a hot song and you're like, man, why am I not getting the phone calls? And a lot of times, and I've learned just hanging around a lot of artists, you got to be the one to pick up the phone sometimes. You got to pick that phone up, do the analytics, look at the analytics, see where the music is playing, and pack those bags and go there. So I've been doing a lot of that. Just me and my team analyzing analytics, all of the stats, and then you know making that decision like, okay, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna go there. I have a hot song in this place. So I finally I got like a very big breakthrough this summer that just passed, and I did a tour in South America, particularly in Colombia,
Yeah, yeah.
um, where I've been frequenting, for a couple of years, and I actually sold out back-to-back shows in Medellin and in Bogota, and they were probably like a day apart, traveling between those two major cities. So you can imagine probably traveling from Toronto to, with my boys there with a nice pool in the back, so that was like the vibe, trying to just, up my own tours, and that's where we're at right now, man. Just building the fan base, and it's a different day and age, man. The record labels aren't giving out record deals the way they used to. So we just got to be consistent, and like I said, believe enough to pick that phone up and make that move.
So, can you enlighten us? Do you have a record deal? How's that? Or what's how's that working?
So I have some offers. Right now I'm still independent. I've done deals that are single deals. I've done like some single publishing deals with particular songs that I have. Especially like the Beanie Man track that was pretty big. We did a publishing deal with Universal Polygram, and for that song in particular. And yeah, I'm basically independent, man. If anybody's hearing me out there, I'm still independent. Um, but I've heard some horror stories, man, and I don't mind having a peace of mind, having some kind of control over my art. So, hopefully the right deal comes. I've been getting offers, but they're not where I want them to be.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
can I just ask? So, when you go to shows and stuff, do you sell CDs? Do you sell records? Do you do that? Because I know a lot of artists, when they're independent artists, are selling their own stuff, and so they have actual stuff you can grab onto rather than just files. How's that work on shows for you?
Well, I know there's some places in the world still that people do the CD
Hmm.
vibes.
Hmm.
What we're doing now, we're really big into QR codes. So we hand out flyers, little business cards that could fit in your pocket, stickers. We paint the town with posters. We just flood them with a lot of QR codes that take everyone back to playlists and take them back to the Spotify, to all of the social media platforms. So that's that type of promotion, and then we have merch. So we do sell merch on the road, or we give away when we're at shows. So yeah, and in terms of CDs, things like that, back in the days, yeah, but nowadays, everybody kind of wants that QR code so they could just find your social media and choose if they want to do a TikTok, if they want to add you to a playlist. That's kind of how we go about it now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
To follow up with what Ron said,
Okay.
being independent and signing out to deal, um, don't you think you feel so free to be indie
Yeah.
with the industry as we see it right now, as conglomerates are trying to control what you can hear, algorithms and all these kind of stuff coming in and stuff like that. Like, to put it mildly, we are in a jungle right now.
Yeah.
We don't know where the industry is going. Don't you think until things settle down,
Yeah.
you're better off than being an indie artist than a label so-called artist?
Yeah. So I think I am at a to a certain extent. So to that extent, I would say, um, as an indie artist, if you know what you're doing, like I've been doing it for so long, I have a method when I do releases, and I'm still learning. So a lot of things, I'm constantly trying to figure out, how to get into the algorithm, how to launch a song and have it become successful. And like I said, I have a method, and yeah, it does change. Like everything is changing every day. But in terms of being on a label, there are some benefits if you have leverage.
Mhm.
I wouldn't. I think if you don't have leverage, then you could end up in a lot of issues, because then you owe a lot of money. They're doing artist development, which is rare, but if they do, you're gonna pay hefty for artist development. So there's such things as they call industry plants. You might find someone that blows up on TikTok, like maybe like Ice Spice, the rapper, and she blew up online, and then people kind of look at it as an industry plan because then now moving forward, um, they put a lot of money into promotion, they put a lot of money into developing her brand, and she might be rich. She has more money than what she would have had doing it independently. But she's also a part of a system that is hard to break. So yeah, when it comes down to certain aspects, certain dynamics, she doesn't have the freedom. And let's say they use her voice as AI, and it's not a part. It's part of a deal, right? So now the record label kind of controlling her entity, her voice, and you see it a lot of these rappers now. That's another thing. You sign to a major record label. They could take your voice and turn your voice into an AI, and they could make records with your voice, without you even being a part of the record actually. So yeah, there's a lot of things going on that are hard to predict at this moment.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think being a little independent right now, we kind of put things into perspective.
Yeah, Petraa.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Cruz. No, go ahead.
you yeah, another thing too, a lot of artists that are signed, um and I've seen these stories. We had a little back and forth with some guys that are from the same island as me, and
Hmm.
they have a major record deal, and they have songs that have billions of streams, um but I know artists that tour more than they do, that are doing it independently, and a lot of it is because people might know you around the world,
Hmm.
but a lot of pop artists, a lot of artists that are signed to major deals, it sometimes what happens is when you're signed, the label is pumping so much money into the songs themselves and into the music, that when you decide to release something independently, you realize how big of a gap there is when a record label is pumping money into a record and when you're
Mm,
trying to release independently. And a lot of them, they get so used to that machine that when they become independent, they don't know what to do, you
true.
know. Yeah, so I've seen that a lot. And a lot of them, they go back and they say, well, I got all these big records, and we're looking at them like, yeah, but I'm touring more than you, you know.
Well,
I
that's where
have a
the money
more,
is.
yeah, exactly. It's a more organic feel because you get to kind of interact with the fans and kind of know exactly what they want instead of just putting out a record and putting a shitload of money into it, and then it blows up, but no one is really interacting with the artists themselves. The song is just playing on the radio, it's playing in places. They don't really know the brand and the artist behind of it.
Hmm. Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And that kind of leads on to my next question, because and it kind of is in relation to what we've just been speaking about. I wanted to ask you, from your perspective, how have you viewed the industry? Like, how have you seen the industry change, and how has your strategy towards the music evolved?
Yeah, so I, as you guys know, I kind of cater to a lot of different demographics. Uh
Mm-hmm.
so so like my thing is maybe this month, next 2 months I might focus on a Latin track.
Mm-hmm.
Um right now I'm working on soca. Top of the year, soca is hot at the top of the year. There's carnivals, there's a lot going
Mm-hmm.
on. So I'm working with a guy named International Steven, who's he we linked up, and I'm kind of spearheading and pioneering something called Socatong, which is
Oh,
soca music.
nice.
Yeah, soca music with Spanish. And there's been people that have done that type of music before, but I'm trying to brand it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and just kind of help to because I'm half Trinidadian. I'm trying to
Yeah,
extend that olive branch, to kind of get people to engage more with with that major Latin industry that might say, hey man, we like this,
for sure.
let's work with a Masha Montano or work with a one of these artists in Trinidad. So that's one thing that I'm working on right now. So in terms of the question, I'm always analyzing um, the entire industry in terms of my appeal, which is Latin Caribbean vibes. So
Mm-hmm.
right now we just dropped a track called Temptation, which I think you guys, that was the last track I sent you guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
It's
and
great. I love that
that's
song.
like a sopatong, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it has some Spanish in it, it has English, it has soca vibes. So and then right after that, now we're gonna pivot into um, the summertime. So I'm gonna get back into my type of music, which is like that Latin infused kind of dancehall vibe. So we got some records gonna be coming out in the summertime. So yeah, I'm always analyzing and
Mm-hmm.
figuring out how to maximize a song. Um, I think we're in a space now where you don't have to have like the biggest song in the world. I've seen 5-year-old songs, 10-year-old songs go viral on TikTok and end up getting like a boost and end up on the charts. And they're like 5 years, 10 years old. That happened to
Mm-hmm.
Vibes Cartel when he got released from jail. A lot of his older records, the kids started to discover it because he was in jail for so long.
Yeah.
Um, that when he came out, everybody started to look up his music, and eventually that turned into his older records now getting charted. So yeah, that in terms of answering the question, yeah, there's always analytics, analyzing, planning, dropping specific songs at specific times into various demographics, into targeting different audiences on social media and things of that nature.
Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah, you make some really good points, and I really like how you're dabbling in and pushing the limits with your music, and You know, I
Yeah.
like the idea
Thank
that
you.
Sokathon, that sounds really, it's going to take the world by storm. So I'm looking forward to seeing the dances that are going
Yeah,
to
yeah,
come with
yeah.
that, you know, and watch the song blow up on TikTok.
Definitely, yeah, yeah, yeah. That Sabrosa track is a soca tone too. That Sabrosa track that you like, yeah. It's that
Hmm.
Spanish soca, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, so I know this is a hot topic. You know, we love to discuss this, and I'm sure that Ron and TYB will expand on this. But what is your? I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will. You guys are so funny. I'm sure you will. Like, what is your? You spoke a little bit about it, but what is your take? And this is intriguing all of us in the industry, so it's a topic. But what is your take on the impact of AI on the music industry, specifically your industry? Like, what is your take on it? The pros and the cons. I'd love to know.
I mean, like I said, all around artists. So it's impacted in terms of visual art
Mm,
and music. Um, I used to make a lot. I used to make a lot of money. A lot of money used to come from visuals,
mm,
and because I'm a visual artist as well, so I do anything you could think of visually. If it's graphics, if it's movies, if it's film, um, all of those things that kind of align with each other. So in that field, I've seen a major dip in terms of
mm.
people wanting. Hold on one second. My mom left her phone here and it's going
Oh,
off.
aw.
Yeah, so in terms of that, I saw a major dip with people just wanting simple things like if they wanted photo retouching, if they wanted logos, things of that nature have now become so obsolete. I
Mm,
Yeah, I don't get those kind of phone calls anymore. And also when it comes to just professional jobs, but in terms of the music, very similar. I mean, you have I personally like it for my music to
mm.
a certain extent.
Yeah.
Um, because it kind of gives me like an assistant, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I've had people on my team that I work with. And I don't really keep anybody on board per se as like permanently. I work with people temporarily. So if I like someone, that I might hit someone up and be like, yo, you want to be an agent? You want to make some phone calls for me and line up some business, and a certain percentage, but they're not necessarily attached to me,
Mm-hmm.
to my career, like permanently.
Yeah.
So the day I feel like, well, you're not really pulling any weight,
Mm,
is not they can't go to court. It's just like you're playing a role as an agent. So you make that decision. Is that you're gonna pick the phone, you're gonna answer the phone calls, make the phone calls, get a 15 to 20% for whatever work you put in, or
mm-hmm.
you could go your merry way.
Yeah.
So what's happened is, as an independent, because AI is around now, it kind of takes away certain jobs I would have to pay someone.
Mm,
So, and it might sound messed up, because there's a lot of people working behind the scenes that are like, and, at the same time, I could only give you as much as I make.
true.
And, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes people just believe artists just have all this money and it's just sitting there. They don't really analyze like the overhead and what it takes to get it done. So they just think, the money is there and give me a job, let me do this, let me do that.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
now with AI, like I said, if I need a contract, I could type it into the AI and tell them, this is what I need, X, Y, and Z. So now that takes away someone's job. Or if I need help writing some lyrics, I might be inspired to use Will I Am's AI, which does music writing. It's pretty basic. It's not on the level of an elite writer, but it gives great ideas. Um,
Mm,
no melodies, but it gives you some nice lyrics that you might be able to use.
Mhm.
So now they got the beat making stuff, you know what I'm saying? But I kind of stay away from the beat making AI. You know, I kind of more focus like if I need a contract done, if I need some advice, you know, I might
Mhm.
ask for some advice with the AI, and then they'll go and search and be like, yo, check this out, check that out. Maybe you could use this. And my AI uses an English accent, so
Oh,
she always sounds extremely intelligent.
polite.
So,
I like that, Cruz.
but you know, Cruise Rock, you could
Yeah,
use. I'd be like,
Cruz.
okay, yeah, I'll use
Like
that
you want
info.
my voice. You can use my voice via AI.
Yeah, use your voice too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for
Yeah.
sure.
So
Yeah. No, thank you for sharing that. Like honestly, this is such a hot topic for all of us on the show. Like we love to touch on this topic. But
yeah.
yeah, there are pros and cons
Oh
to
yeah.
AI, you know?
Yeah.
And I think as long as you keep it as a tool,
Yeah.
I think it works best as a tool. But
Yeah.
when it becomes like the main focus, like an AI artist,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
we have to question, because like we've spoken about the I always forget, Zanya Monet that
Yeah.
got $3 million deal. That's an AI artist. That's an artificial fictitious person that got
Yeah.
that deal. When there's artists like yourself who are independent, that have been
Yeah.
putting in decades into their music, blood,
Yeah.
sweat, tears. So it's like that's where you know that's where the tug of war comes in. Because like
Yeah.
you said, you see the benefit of hiring using AI to take care of certain parts of your business, but like you also recognize the fact that it is taking away somebody's job. But it's just when that is now
Yeah.
happening on a larger scale in a different scope, it's like, is it the same on a smaller scale,
Yeah.
on a larger scale, or is it different? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I hate that AI, and I don't get what I are the guys who are pushing it like Timberland and these guys.
Mm,
It's like you've made so much money, bro. You've made so much money, so much accolades. You could really just this and try to make somebody dreams come through.
yeah.
Um, they are feeling the pressure. They know how hard it is to break artists,
Mm,
and so they're just trying. I guess in the nicest terms, they're trying to say butts. Um,
yeah.
but in return, you water down the industry, and then like you said, you get who's getting signed, and it's like, okay, so what's gonna happen when Showtime comes? you know?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I think artists now have to get into the zone of finding core audiences.
Mm,
TikTok is a great way to find a core audience. Facebook, believe it or not, Facebook is a great place.
mhm,
Instagram, I find it to be a little more bougie. Instagram
mm,
is a little less posts, put the
true.
promo behind of it, try to reach the audience.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but in terms of like viral, the capabilities of going viral, I always say, jump on TikTok, jump on Facebook, try to just build a fan base, man. Is even if you have 500 people buying a record or streaming
Mhm.
you, is better than, none, is better than AI, creating a song, AI artist creating a song and they don't really have a fan base. It's just a money
Mm,
grab.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, you make some great points. Thanks, Cruz. And
Mhm.
TyB?
But you know what's crazy?
Mm-hmm.
The people that are and it's vice versa, right? So when I say, you know, I don't really need someone to write a contract for me anymore. I could get AI to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing with the AI artists. You have
Mm-hmm.
writers and producers who are now looking at the artists like, well, you guys are disposable. So now
See?
guess
Wow.
what? We're just gonna get rid of the artists now. We're gonna do AI. So it's vice versa. You
Yeah,
got
exactly.
you got on both sides, and there are people that work behind the scenes that have a lot of horror stories when it comes to investing time into artists and things of that
Mm,
nature.
yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you for sharing that.
no problem.
Yeah, TRD?
Yeah, Cruz, you've been dropping some great gems. In terms of when you were in Colombia, well, today I saw a lot of Colombia Cruz Rock
Yeah,
fans.
yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, they are listening.
Oh yeah,
You see, you said something that was very interesting in terms of how you go about doing your marketing, your promo.
yeah,
Mm,
Um, is it AI related or is just a concept that you and your team came about and then came out and said, this is how we are going to do it. And the second part of it is with respect to the CD thing, it's very interesting
yeah,
because right now, as it is, with with how the industry is heading to, you just have to go out there to perform.
yeah,
Once you go out there to perform, you're making money from this from the ticket sales, and you're selling merch. And
yes,
if you align yourself also to a label, just like you said, very
yeah.
interesting again, that artist development and all these kind of stuff, it comes out of you.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
Come,
if you put
yeah.
the two on a scale, which one would you prefer apart from anything else? You doing what you're doing, or you going under a label that you know or you foresee that, okay, I'm going on a tour. We're going to Medellin. We're going to Bogota. We're going to da 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 da. And then you know him very well that even you may be paying for the for the place where you'll be performing, your hotel
Yeah.
and everything will be put in there. But
Yeah.
then if you are going out there, and I have about 4 or 5 musicians out there that I've made contacts with, and I go and rehearse with them.
Yeah.
Is it not cheaper than to get yourself involved with the labels? Because gone are those days where you could go out and say, "Oh, I'm signed with A&M. I'm signed with this." That, that." It's
Oh
not there
yeah, yeah.
anymore. It's not there anymore. How do you balance that out?
But here's the thing. In terms of a record label making life a little more easier for you, um, imagine you're working for the government, right? And you're bidding for the in the government for a, let's say, to pave roads, right? And you give your bid, you're not gonna give the lowest bid. You're
Mhm.
gonna give the highest bid, right? It's gonna be, you're competing with other people, but you're gonna scale it, and then you're not gonna give a break. You're gonna try and make money off of this. So it's no different with the label, where if the label handles your tour, they might do stuff that there might be charges in there that you don't even know about. You're like, oh, so I'm paying for that too? You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And that happens, and then the prices are inflated. So
Mhm.
they inflate the prices and say, well, some because I could have hired a photographer in Colombia that would have probably cost me $50.
Mhm.
And they go bring their photographer, and he's got to fly from Canada all the way to Medellin, and then we got to pay for his ticket, for his room, we got to pay for all this stuff, and then they're going to charge you maybe $500 for him to take the photos, and then you're looking like damn, so the photographer alone cost me 2 grand.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And I hear it a lot, man. Like artists, they think they're gonna about to make a bunch of money, and then they look and they're like, damn, like I'm paying that much
That's right.
for these people. So yeah, record labels tend to be, if you have a good record deal,
Yeah.
you could beat those obstacles. But as we know, there's no really such thing as a good record deal.
No.
The record deals are in the favor of the record labels, and they're all about the money. They're all about that bottom dollar.
Mhm.
So,
That's right.
um, I've built a system, and I understand the system, and that's why I spend a lot more time in these foreign countries, because my money goes longer.
Mhm.
And the big takeaway sometimes from doing foreign countries, third world countries, is that the money is less.
Mhm.
So let's say a show like in Colombia, um, comparing a show in Colombia to a show in New York. You
Mm,
know, people are paying 25, $35 for a ticket in New York, as in Colombia, the tickets might be $5 to $10, you know? So, and then sometimes maybe even less, just to try and get more people out to get to hear your voice.
mm.
So, you know, there's pluses, minuses to it. And that's just all part of
Business.
understanding the industry and you know the bottom dollar.
Yeah. So in essence, we all agree that the industry is heading towards places where we have not sort of forecasted. Yes, right
Yeah,
now, today you hear this, tomorrow you hear that. In the same kind of industry, they are merging. They are doing this. They are doing that. They are doing that. So now it's so chaotic that we don't know. So I think. We don't know where we're going to, but then all that I would say is that artists would have to back off a little bit, take care of themselves first,
yeah,
because just like you said, Timberlake and all that, they've made the money,
yep,
and
yep,
yet they want to make more money at the expense of the ordinary artist who is trying to make ends meet, and then they sucking them dry. But then
yep,
if you stay indie, you have your peace of mind. I'm not saying that signing with the label is not good. It is. If
yeah,
it's good, if the black and white notes and the everything is fine in terms of
Hmm.
the contract. If it is
yeah,
good, it's good. But then
yeah,
who would like to go into a business, to lose? That's
Hmm.
exactly.
so I think moving forward, my advice we've been talking about is that for artists to be on a very good standing, you may have to, trademark everything about you,
Oh yeah,
your voice,
oh yeah,
your everything, everything, so that if you have to stay indie, you stay indie, and if they cross the line, say, "Aha, gotcha!" You can
yeah,
do, you just cannot do that. So I think I agree with what you're saying.
yeah.
The pluses and the minuses and stuff like that. But then I get you, Ron.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Hey,
definitely.
if I can switch this to the music that you put out just for a moment, um,
Uh-huh.
I noticed you played multiple genres. I know that the biggest artists, like for instance Taylor Swift, I don't want to compare you to anybody, but just saying she plays one genre for the most part, as we all know, and it's pop.
Yeah.
Um, how do you? What's your feeling on playing multiple genres, and do you get any flack for that, or pressure to just why don't you stick to one and stay with one? Any of that kind of stuff going on?
Um. Well, it has its pluses and its minuses.
Yeah.
One of the biggest minuses is the algorithm.
Mhm. Yeah.
So yeah, the issue with the algorithm is that the algorithm is used to one thing. And like if you're looking up cars, muscle cars on Instagram, it's gonna give you a ton load of muscle cars to look at,
Mhm.
right? So what happens is if one week I'm doing soca, and that's why I try to space it out, not release too many tracks at the same time. Um, it it takes time for the algorithm then to switch back over into Latin. So it's
Mhm.
like right now I'm doing soca and I can't release a Latin track while I'm doing the soca because it kind of throws off that algorithm,
Hmm.
right? And then you could I think the algorithm is starting to become a lot smarter. And people are able to find certain things that they want to, but the algorithm is going to throw at you whatever you look up. So I had a guy. He told me one day we were doing a feature, and I've lost a lot of momentum on Instagram, right? Where I've actually lost followers as well. And a lot of it is because the algorithm on Instagram now is very similar to TikTok. So they switched everything over to where if you had 1 million followers, I would say at least 50 to 65% of those followers would see like your posts, right? Now with the algorithm, the way it's set up, I have a million followers. man, maybe 1,000, 2,000 people might be interested in what I'm putting out in that particular time.
Mm.
So
Hmm.
it's not gonna hit my whole audience of followers.
Oh wow.
You know what I'm saying? So that right there, just the algorithm itself, makes it hard to create different genres. Sometimes you kind of have to plan it out and give the algorithm time to switch back into your favor in terms of what you're doing. You know?
Yeah, I know that when you release songs, like say with, like say DistroKid or whatever you're using,
Mhm.
um, it always asks you what genre is this, and I think you're allowed to put down two.
Mm.
However, in your case, do you find yourself going back and forth a lot between them? I mean, because I know that to me that gets tough to sort a person out. It's almost what you're saying here.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, let's put the algorithm aside, right? Let's say a
Mhm.
human being, right? A
Yeah,
fan.
yeah.
Okay, so I have a lot of issues with that, especially where I'm from in the
Hmm.
Virgin Islands.
Hmm.
Even though I'm one of the biggest artists from here, um, whenever I put like they love when I do a straight up English track. The
Hmm.
majority here because they're not Spanish. Like we have Spanish communities here, but the
Hmm.
Virgin Islands is an English speaking place.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So and they like soca, they like hardcore dancehall. You know, they like things, things like that. So when I add the Spanish to some songs, they tune out.
Hmm. I can see
Like a
that being
lot,
the case. Yep.
yeah, a lot of them might tune out and be like, I don't like Spanish.
I don't
And I've had,
understand it.
yeah, and I'm like, well, I feel you. I'm saying, well, but the song has some really good English. Yeah, but I don't like Spanish. And I'm like, all right, then. Well, I guess I got to make a straight up English track for you
Mm.
and people that think like you. And then, I make, because to me, in the Spanish world, in the Latin world, they're acceptive to a lot of, they're very receptive to different types of music.
Mm.
So they love Spanish music, but they're not gonna be like because a dancehall track comes on and they don't understand what they're saying. They don't care. They'll just keep. They like the beat. They like the
Hmm.
Yeah.
vibe. So different demographics are different places, different demographics. Everybody thinks differently. But for the most part, yeah, there's some people that when the song starts to mix and the vocals are having Spanish and then some English, sometimes it could be a turn off to some listeners. Definitely.
Yeah, I
Mm.
know in North America it's like that a lot because if people
Yeah.
listen to a song and then all of a sudden it switches languages in the middle of it, they're going, "Well, what's the rest of this song about now? I don't understand this."
Mm.
Yeah.
That's the problem. That's why many artists here in North America, not all, of course, I'm just summing things up. Many artists will sing in one language. That's why, the
Yeah.
most well-off artists here in North America usually just sing one language and
Yeah.
stick to it. Like for instance, I know the Gypsy Kings are not from North America; they're from Central America. They are a fabulous group, and
Oh yeah.
everything they sing is Spanish, but
Yeah. Yeah.
that's great. I love them because I can go. I don't care. I don't understand a word they're singing, but I know them word for word. Uh,
Exactly.
but it's the feel that they have that they've got a
Mm.
groove. The Gypsy Kings, like it's a flamenco style that's just knocks you out. But
Yeah. Yeah.
but then they're not going back and forth between multiple languages either. They're sticking with Spanish, and if you don't like it, that's the way it is. Hey, here I go, man. If you don't
Yeah.
like
Well,
this,
yeah. Yeah. Let me look at Bad Bunny. He's about to headline the Super Bowl, and he made it clear he's singing in Spanish.
mm-hmm.
So and he's not gonna change that. Um, so yeah, sometimes it's hard, but you know what's crazy is I've been making this style of music for so many years. This
Mm.
the Spanish mixed with the Caribbean dancehall type of vibe, and like recently when I came back from Colombia, people were taking the style and using it, and I'm like
Mm.
big artists
Wow.
were taking it and using it, and I was like, yo, like, okay, so my what I've been doing for so many years is now catching on. It's
Mm.
it's just that I'm not signed to a label, so now you got these bigger artists are taking it and they're like, yeah, this is our thing, and I'm
Wow.
like, no, it is not your thing. Like you
No.
could say where it comes from.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm gonna give you a quote
The credit.
before I pass you over to Petra, and that is
Yeah.
Picasso said, "Good artists borrow, but great ones steal."
Oh,
That's Picasso for you.
oh yeah, hell
Go
yeah.
ahead, Petra.
Oh my gosh. Okay, awesome. Okay, so that leads on to my next question, just going off from what Ron was saying. I wanted to ask you, so what actually separates you from other artists? Like what makes you stand out? Because
Good
now you see
question.
especially how some of these artists are, imitating some of the
Yeah.
blueprint that you already have established, but what makes you stand out from any other
There-
artist in your genre?
there's a lot of things that I've crafted, curated within the brand that I think separates me. One is the voice that I use when I sing.
Mm-hmm.
That was crafted. I crafted that because I realized they like Michael Jackson never goes out of style, right? But a lot of rappers go out of style.
Mm.
So the more
Very true.
basic, what I'm saying, the more basic your voice is the more people are gonna forget you.
True.
So
True.
there's a lot of artists that they don't even really sound that good, but people remember them because they have certain cadences. They might have a lisp. They like 50 Cent. He was shot in the face, so he had like this thing when he had like a slur when he spoke. So there's ways that people remember artists, and you kind of find like that story that's being told as to why that artist sounds the way they sound. So just curating the vocal setting and what you want to sound like. That's one. And then the next thing is fashion. Um, fashion is big. The way you dress, the way you carry yourself. That's another one. And another big thing that people love me for is I speak up. Like I find myself in a lot of political things sometimes. I speak up for a lot of people in my community here, especially in the Virgin Islands. If there's things that I see that's going on, I kind of step in and I use my voice, and people love me for that. Like, they're artists that try to compete and they try to figure out like why does he go viral so much, like, and it's
Mm-hmm.
because I speak up when shit is happening. Like, I'm sorry, I don't know if I could say that word, but when when things are happening, I speak up. I'm like, hey, this is wrong. I don't care who you are. You could be the governor, you could be the president. This is wrong. You shouldn't do people that. We might set up petitions, we might do things, and I'm just like engaging and showing that I care. And that's another thing I told some artists who were really big, that people were asking them like, "What are you doing for the community?" And they think it's money, but it's not about money all the time. It's not about money. Sometimes people just want to know that you care, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And that
No
leads me
problem.
on to like my next question. In your time in the music industry, just from being an artist, just from your experiences, the people that you've met, what are some of the biggest lessons that have stood out for you that you can share with our listeners?
Um, Lessons in terms of, you said the journey.
Yeah, lessons from the journey, lessons from the music, either or, but just some lessons that stood out that you can share with others.
Definitely, you gotta be patient. I think patience goes a long way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you gotta wait your turn. You gotta have some patience. Um, in the moments when things are extremely silent and you feel like no one's
Mm-hmm.
paying attention, that's like the best time for you to just keep perfecting, perfect. And I would say don't wait to release music when it's perfect. you
True.
know you like, I have music that I listen back to and I'm like, damn, like even Sabrosa, when I listen
Mm-hmm.
back to Sabrosa, I'm like, damn, it got some things in it that I wish I did it better, you
Mhm.
know
Yeah,
and i
yeah.
was i was at a point in my career where I was taking down old music, and someone came to me and they were like, why are you doing that? Like, there's
Wow.
there's people that like that stuff. They want to know
True.
what was you doing 10 years ago and how does
Exactly.
that correlate with that era.
Mm-hmm.
So I could have kicked myself on several occasions where I pulled songs that people really liked.
Wow.
Um, and so that's a thing where I'm not into perfection in terms of the
Mhm.
journey. The journey is the
True.
journey. We're in the journey to seek perfection.
Wow.
Um, but it's not. It doesn't have to be a perfect journey. It has to have
Mhm.
some kind of, it has to have some songs that don't sound that good. Some songs that sound like you had a really bad mic, and yeah, people might be like, man, that was back when he didn't have it like that, and
Yeah,
it intrigues them because they might be going through the same thing.
exactly.
What
Yeah.
is the
So
perfect journey?
I don't think there's a perfect journey, but I think everyone is seeking to better themselves.
Yeah.
Um, if the word is if the word might not be perfection, but me myself, I'm seeking to be not perfect, but to seek some type of perfection in the things that I do. So maybe just if I do it enough times, it has to have some type of perfection at some point where you say, yeah, it's not exactly where it's supposed to be,
But
but
enough is
it's
enough.
getting there, and
Yeah.
it's kind of that that mission towards perfection, which you'll never be perfect, but the the idea of it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you for that, Cruz.
Yes.
TYB.
Yeah, Cruz, my question would be, or the advice that, what advice would you give um, a new person, a new artist going into this industry, which is heading towards an area where we don't even know where it is heading to? What would you tell that person? Because back in the day, so, oh, I'm going to sing. Oh, I'm going into the music industry, expecting
Yeah.
all these big things and stuff like. It's not there
Oh,
anymore. You have
yeah.
to craft your
Mm.
own niche. What would be your advice to such a person? Because with your experience, you know exactly what you've been through, the pitfalls, and
Yeah.
how you've been able to
Mhm.
survive at this particular point in time.
So I'll give you an example, right? So my nephew, um, all of my nephews, they want to sing, they want to follow in my footsteps, and one in particular, he started to take some courses in school, and I told him, I said, listen, man, AI is about to take over. I said, you need to be very particular how you spend money learning certain things. Um, because you might go into a class and the colleges ain't no different than the record labels.
Mm.
College is trying to sell those courses and make money.
Yeah.
So they're not going to tell you that 5 years down the line, AI is going to take that over. Because if that was the
Mm.
case, I would have knew that when I was going to school. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So my mom came to me and she was like, "Don't discourage him, let him." I said, "Yeah, but I gotta be real with him. I gotta
Yeah.
tell him, you got a daughter, you got two daughters. Don't put all this money into this school, um, just to record music." I said,
Mm.
if you're gonna do it do it so that you could be working maybe behind the scenes doing something,
Yeah.
um, or that it just gives you a steady income. Because if you're just saying, I want to learn how to record, you could go on YouTube and use that and do that. You could take a YouTube course. It's a YouTube university.
Yeah.
So a lot of programs that I'm learning now, I'm learning them all on the fly. And there was a time when you had to go to school to learn it. So in terms of those artists, that would be my advice, is just to kind of, you know, be wise about the AI, and be selective where you invest money into your music, and be more focused on building your brand. And
Mm.
don't, that's something that doesn't happen overnight. Like building a brand, it takes years for people to trust into Coca-Cola. It takes years for people to
Yeah.
trust in Love Bay. You know what I'm saying? So it's a process.
Well said.
Yeah.
You're muted, TYB. TYB, we can't hear you.
You knew exactly. I mean, that was a very good advice because it feels like the that era is gone. Because
Yeah.
if AI can write music for you, can write the beats for you, you
Mm-hmm.
can
Yes.
do so many things with it. Why would you
Mhm.
even bother? It's really troubling. It's very, very troubling, and it's not pretty at all. So I think
Yeah.
that advice that you gave your mom and your nephew is valid. The only thing
Oh
is
yeah.
that they should come to the University of Cruz Rock because
Yeah.
that's right. Because
Yeah.
you've lived it, you are
Oh
there.
yeah.
You are telling them, don't do that. You don't have to do that. Do it
Oh
different.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. My son is a producer. He writes, right? His
Yeah.
beats and stuff like that. Now, he's gotten that idea that, okay, you know what? If I was supposed to do this, I'm not going to do this. And I give him the advice, and he's a very good listener. He learns, and all right, he's all right. So I think that's a very good advice to anybody who would be listening to you
Oh yeah.
as an experienced artist. And I thank you for that, Ron.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess on that point, my deal is you've two have heard this a lot, Petra and TYB, and that is I always say to people, one thing AI isn't going to replace anytime soon is the human being, which
Oh yeah.
is the artist that plays or sings an instrument. So
Yeah.
learn those because those are what are going to get you on stage where the money is.
Hmm.
Exactly.
If that's what you're looking for, your goal is to being is how am I going to survive, you're
Yeah.
probably not going to survive as just a songwriter in these
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
times. You're probably going to have to be, well, you're going to have to be a performing artist as well. And in order to do that, it takes skill, as Petra well knows, and so does TYB. We all know because we've all stood on stages for, lots of years.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing that I do encourage everybody to do is if you're going to make it in this industry is to make sure you can either sing or play an instrument because AI is never going to be replaced Petra as a singer, thank goodness.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Which is true.
or you as a singer, they're not it's
Yeah.
not going to replace you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's the thing that you have to it's never going to replace me as a bass player because I am who I am.
Yeah.
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 Which is true. Which is true, man. Yeah. The live shows are everything, man. And
Yes.
Well,
you
Yes.
know
that's where the money is.
that's where the money is. Definitely, man. I gotta agree with that. Gotta
Mhm.
agree with that.
You're not going to
Doing the
make it
live
on
show.
streaming.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, streaming is nothing nowadays, man. It's
Yeah.
I
and
heard
I
one I heard one artist he got one of these big silver plaques and it showed that he had 1 billion streams and he laughed and he said that made me $44. Uh, and then but then it was Michael Bublé and anybody in Canada knows Michael Bublé.
Yeah.
Bublé's a millionaire. His
Yeah.
house
yeah,
his house is worth millions and millions of dollars, but he didn't make it from record sales.
yeah.
He made it from performing because he's
Probably.
an incredible artist
Mhm.
Oh
on
yeah, yeah.
stage. So
Yeah, that's the thing right
that's
there, man.
mhm. Be a
That's the thing
performing
right there.
artist.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta perform. You gotta perform. And that's something actually we're fighting for here in the Virgin Islands. Trying to build up the industry so that artists get fair chances to perform. So
Mm-hmm.
I've
Show
been
you're
so
real.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, people want to know that you could sing, that you could hold a
Yeah.
stage.
They
Mhm.
want to
You
know
know,
is you on that recording.
Mhm.
yeah, man, they want to,
Exactly.
man. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to, it's got to be a vibe. I call it a vibe. It's just a vibe. Like they could feel it. They could groove to it. It doesn't have to be the perfect pitch, all that stuff. You just have to groove the crowd and make them move.
That's
Have
right.
them
Mm-hmm.
clapping their hands, snapping their fingers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I,
Get
I
you.
was surprised when I did NBC. I was one of the artists that sang live, and it
Wow.
wasn't perfect. It wasn't nowhere close to perfect. I was a little nervous, and then I was a little shaky at some points. But I saw comments that people were like, "Yo." Some people were like, "Oh, he's not sounding. He doesn't sound exactly like the record." And then people are like, "Well, we don't want him to sound exactly like the record. The record is mixed,
Different.
mastered. It's
Yeah.
it's
Of
it's
Uh-huh.
course not.
pitched. You know what I'm saying? Like he's gonna sound like he's live, like he's moving around, like he's dancing. He's not
Yeah.
gonna sound like he's in the studio just standing up.
Yeah.
So, and that's what people want, you know?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Oh,
because I mean, when you hear a singer, you want to know it's that person actually singing it. And
yeah.
sure, they're going to be nervous. Sure, they might hit the wrong note slightly out of tune or whatever,
Yep.
but that is part of being human. And that's what
Yep.
we love about
Oh, yeah.
humans
Exactly.
is
Exactly.
that
Yeah,
lack of perfection.
exactly, man. Seeking it, but you don't have to be it.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Exactly.
that's right.
Yes.
Exactly.
Words
Yep.
from the
Yep.
wise. Good
Mhm.
one.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It,
Petra. Mhm.
Awesome. But yeah,
yeah.
honestly, this has just been an amazing reconnect conversation with you, Cruz. It's just been amazing to
Thank
have
you.
you back with us. You know,
Thank you.
and just know any final words. Can you just share with our listeners, where they can get in contact with you, your handles, any shout outs?
Yeah, so make sure y'all go and check out Temptation, the music video.
Mhm.
That's that Soca Tong record. And it's hot right now. It's really starting to blow up. Shout out to all my Trini them in Toronto. Go check that out. All my island people. Same way I have another one that's called Let You Go, and that's a straight up like soca record with some zest. They call it zest, and that's a style of music from Trinidad. Check out that Let You Go, and come in. I'm working on the new album. I'm hoping to wrap it up for the summertime. Just finishing up some final parts to it. So look out for a new album. And then if you want to hear my last album, Cultura, 17 tracks on there, Beanie Man, Amara La Negra, a lot of big tracks. A lot of favorites from Love Bay. So go check that out. Yeah, my social media, Cruz Rock, CRUZROCK. Yeah, go check me out on all social media. I need some help with the TikTok. So yeah, go check me out on TikTok because my TikTok, everybody's like, who's this guy? He's not a big artist. I'm like, I'm horrible at TikTok. So TikTok, TikTok does not care how big you are and how much shows you said. You gotta get engaged with the people, and I'm not. I'm still learning how to do that. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta engage with your fans. They want to hear
yeah,
from
you have to.
I'm
You have
sorry,
to.
not everybody knows everything.
That's
No,
right.
no,
you.
it's
Yeah,
true.
exactly. We're all learning and evolving.
Yep,
Yeah, it's
definitely.
been an amazing show. So thank you
Yes,
again for joining us.
thank you.
And you definitely have to come again.
Mhm.
Don't be a stranger. You're our official Love Bay family. So you're welcome
Of
back
course.
anytime.
Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it.
Awesome. We
Okay.
appreciate you too. So
You
Yes.
take
yeah,
care.
it's been amazing. So yes, Love Bay listeners, thank you again for joining us on another Highway 6 to Africa with myself, Petra, the amazing Ron, the amazing TYB. And you'll find us here next week Saturday on another Highway 6 Africa, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard. You guys enjoy your weekend. Bye, Love Bay.
Bye.